continue at a 5.4%. So that's like $60,000 more money in your pocket by simply being a homeowner if you apply the average home price in the United States. All right, moving on. So being a homeowner has its perks. Number one, we already talked about appreciation, profit. When you sell a house that you have occupied 2 out of 5 years, and if you're married, you can earn up to $500,000 and don't have to pay a single penny. There are obvious tax benefits. I mean, consult with your tax preparer, but you can deduct up to $750,000 in mortgage interest. All of those deductions allow you to pay less when the time comes of filing your income tax. Again, I am not an attorney or a CPA. I always suggest that you consult all of these legal issues and taxes with the appropriate professional. Now, a lot of people see 90% of the wealthy Americans, they see real estate as a good way of achieving financial freedom. 90% of them have some sort of real estate holding, whether it be a house or investment property. So don't fall behind and start building your own portfolio, your own legacy. So leave your kids assets instead of liabilities. All right, so the home buying process could be a scary process. A lot of people, they don't know where to start. Do I even qualify for a mortgage at this time? Can I buy a house if my credit is less than perfect? So we're gonna be talking, about those things. Now, this is the recommended home buying process. The recommended home buying process is we are gonna suggest that you talk to a loan originator first, because you want to make sure that you qualify for the property. You don't want to go start seeing properties without knowing what your monthly payment will be, the closing costs that you need to pay. You need to know all of those things. And more importantly, you need to know whether you qualify or not. Once we have pre-qualified you, then we're going to give a pre-approval letter to you and your real estate agent. Your real estate agent is going to have a sit down with you to learn your needs and wants and to schedule appointments to take you out to see property. Once you have seen 2 or 3 properties or 5 properties, everybody is different. You're going to write 2 or 3 offers. One of those offers will get accepted, and we are going to be opening, the seller is going to be opening title and escrow. What's title and what's escrow? Title will ensure that the title of the property belongs to the seller. And escrow, it's a neutral third-party company that will ensure that everything in the contract is done according to the law and to the specific terms. Now, your real estate agent will probably suggest that you hire a home inspector. A home inspector it's a company that they will do a visual inspection to make sure that everything looks good, that you don't have foundation issues. By doing a visual inspection, they're going to see the structure, the roof, because you don't want to have surprises when you buy a house. And my job as your real estate originator, as your loan officer, is to order what is called an appraisal. The appraisal will determine the property value. You don't want to buy a property that is not worth what you offer, right? So that's why it's super crucial to order an appraisal. And we're gonna get these things done out of the way as quickly as possible, so that you don't lose the risk of losing your deposit. Now, when it comes to different loan programs, um, there is a different array depending on your circumstance. You might want to apply for a jumbo loan if you want to buy a property, for example, in LA County that is above 720 and 65,000 actually. 765,000. They just raised. Oh, sorry. They just raised the limit for the California. Okay, for the California sales price to 765. So imagine. So a new pool of people are able to qualify as a first-time home buyer now when they increase this from $726,000. Now, when you buy a property as a first-time home buyer, typically the down payment is low. It's they finance up to 96.5. But on the next slide, I'm going to show you how you can receive down payment assistance. Now, if you are a buyer that has 20% down payment or more, then it might make sense to use a conventional loan, because a conventional loan, when you give 20% down, carries no mortgage insurance. The other type of loan that carries no MI is the VA loan, or veterans that have served our country. You can get 100% financing, and typically the closing cost on a VA loan is it's a little bit lower than FHA. And if you are a homeowner, 62 years young, and you need to supplement your income and you have equity in the property, you might have the ability to pull some of that equity by applying for a reverse mortgage. All right, moving on. So, what if you don't have money for the down payment, or you even need assistance with the closing costs? There is different loan programs out there to be able to assist home buyers. For example, in California, we have the CALHFA, the California Housing Finance Agency. They offer down payment assistance in the form of a silent second, a soft second. What is that? A second loan means that you have the ability to make a payment, but you don't have the obligation. That loan, the down payment, okay, you can finance it for 30 years. All right. So this is the typical FHA loan where they give you 96.5% of the purchase price. The 3.5 becomes a second loan. And watch this. If you need assistance, even with the closing costs, you have the ability to apply for a third loan called the ZIP, zero interest program. And this one is, again, the term is 30 years. And this one carries no interest, which is good. Zero interest program, right? Okay, and there you go. So you can not only finance the down payment, but you can receive closing cost assistance so you get into a property. Now, the second and the third loan is not technically free money. You have to repay it only when you refinance or sell the house. But at least it gives you the opportunity to become a homeowner. You can, with this program, you can finance houses, condominiums, and PUDs. Unfortunately, you cannot buy units with the CalHFA, and the FICO requirement is 660. Now, if you are a police, teacher, firefighter, and look, if you have one of these professions, you might be able to receive 4%. Watch this, free money, non-repayable gift coming from the Golden State Finance Authority. So that 3.5 will cover the down payment, okay? And at least you're gonna have 0.5% to cover some of the closing costs. So for any details on these programs, guys, book a no obligation consultation so that we can over the details. But yes, that. And now, for people that is outside California, Nevada, Utah, Idaho, Florida, and Texas, there is a federal loan that is called the Chenoa Fund. Okay, so this one, the Chenoa Fund, is a assistance in the form of a second again. Now, the beauty about this second is it could become free money if you make your mortgage payments on time for at least 36 months. Again, this is a federal loan. It's an FHA. Well, they'll give you 96.5, and you can finance the down payment as a way of down payment assistance. So now, with this one, you can finance 2 units if your FICO is 640 or above, or a single family residence at 620. I believe I have some questions coming in. We're gonna be answering questions at the end of the webinar. And Cesar here, my director, is gonna be collecting everything and asking those questions at the end. So now, when you decide to buy a house, there are things that you need to know, especially what do lenders look into borrowers? Number one, legal status. Generally speaking, most mortgage programs, especially if you would like to receive down payment assistance, they want to see that you have a legal status in the United States. So whether you're a citizen, you have a green card, or you have asylum, or you are a refugee, you could qualify to receive down payment assistance. So now, what happens with the people that don't have a legal status? What can you do? The good news is, we live in the land of opportunity. There is one program called the ITIN program, and one program lets you finance 90% of the property up to 300,000, which is good news. I mean, you might not be able to buy like in the LA area, but if you're willing to go to Bernardino, Riverside, you might be able to buy a property if it's below 300,000. Now, if the purchase price goes over 80%, I'm sorry, over 300,000, then you're gonna have to be ready to give a down payment, but you have the ability to buy again. And a lot of people don't know this. You can use the ITIN program to refinance as well, up to 80% LTV. Yes, you could even refinance your property even if you don't have a legal status. Welcome to America, guys. So with the ITIN program, you don't need to have a social security number. As long as you're a good boy or a good girl, then pay your taxes, you file your income taxes, you might be able to qualify. You can finance single family residences, condos, even units, because this is private money. All right. The second factor that all lenders will look before giving you a mortgage is income. Income, income, income. It used to be location, location, location. Nowadays, you have to have the income in order to buy a house. The income has to be verifiable and it has to be predictable. If you're an employee, the lenders want to see W-2s, K-1s for my corporate owners, for my landlords, investors, Schedule E for the landlords, 1099 INT for my private money lenders over there. Yes, you can even use interest income to buy a property. 1099 Gs for my gamblers, professional gamblers that are fortunate, with gambling that happens. You can even use that money if it's consistent and predictable. I don't know how you can predict that, but hey. All right. So now, any type of income can help you qualify for a house. Overtime, bonus, second job, seasonal, retirement, even social security income. You don't have to disclose it, but if you want to, you could. Now, what happens if you are a self-employed borrower and for some reason, you have no tax return? Can you buy a house? And the answer is yes. We have an array of different bank statement programs, we call them, where you can decide to give us whether 12 or 24 months. Obviously, uh, the more stability we can show the underwriters, the better off we're going to be. With this one, no tax returns required. You can borrow up to $5 million. Your credit score could be as low as 600 points. And you could even use combined income, meaning you could have personal income or business income coming from a corporation or just Schedule C. They'll lend you up to 90% of the purchase price. You can even buy second homes, investments. A lot of investors, they like this program, investors. Mhm. Now, you can even buy after 2 years of foreclosure, short sale, bankruptcy, deed in lieu. So think about it. Now, the third factor that all lenders are going to look into borrowers is the credit. Three numbers, your FICO, are going to dictate whether you qualify for down payment assistance, whether you can finance closing costs, the rate. Okay. So a lot of people don't know this. What makes a good FICO? Well, 35% of your FICO will be composed from your payment history. If you want to have good credit, always pay your bills on time. So now, mind you, we can find you a loan if you had like a 1 times 30 in the past 12 months, or even possibly two late payments. We might be able to work with something like that. Now, if you want to refinance and you have a mortgage payment, it's going to be really almost impossible. All right. Now, the other 30% of the FICO is how much you owe. The term that they use is credit utilization, meaning if you have a line of credit of $10,000, the banks want to see that you don't charge more than $3,000. If you want to have excellent FICO, never charge more than 10%. Length of history, that's important too. So to the young people that say, well, I just got out of high school. I don't have any credit. How can I have a lengthy credit report, with a good length of history? Well, the easiest way to do it is to ask somebody to add you as an authorized user. When you do that, that length of history applies like the credit card is yours, technically. So that's a little, we call them hacks to be able to create a FICO score. And believe me when I tell you, I've helped people, pretty much fabricate a 700 FICO just by doing that, or by applying to a secure credit card. That's another way that you can have a good FICO within 30 days. All right. So moving on. But what happens when you have less than perfect credit? And when I say less than perfect credit or bad credit, I'm talking below 580. I mean, because with the 580 FICO, you can still buy as a first-time home buyer with the FHA loan and receive up to 96.5% financing, which is good news. Now, if for some reason your FICO is below 580, or if you want to buy a property receiving down payment assistance and you need a 660 FICO, then what can you do? Credit repair. That's an option. A lot of people don't believe in credit repair. I seen it work with these two eyes, so I am a witness that this works. How does that work? There is a law, Fair Credit Reporting Act. That law says that the credit bureaus shouldn't be recording any derogatory information in your credit report unless they have verified it. But now they receive millions of entries, from millions and millions of vendors. Do you think they have the time to verify the validity of that information? That's the loophole that a lot of credit repair companies use in order to dispute the validity of that information, even if it's truthful. But in America, you're not guilty unless proven otherwise, right? That's the court system. So now, that's how they do it. Now, if after, you know, if you decide to work with us, we are willing to refund up to $1,000 in credit repair services if that's the case, if you need to work on your credit. So you can buy a property in the next 90 days. But this opportunity, it's only for the first 5 people to either book a consultation online or apply for a loan with us. So that's one. Now, so if you're tired of having people telling you how to live your life, or if you're tired of your rent payment going up, if you're tired of living in a confined space, if you need, space to spread your wings, then this could be a good time to be a homeowner where you could buy a house with some of the best rates and receive down payment assistance. There is so many opportunities out there. So do the right thing and start building a portfolio, buy your first home. And then if you want to buy multiple properties, we can show you how to do that. And it's really easy. You buy a 2-1, then you can move into a 3-2. And after 3 years, you can still qualify as a first-time home buyer. We can show you everything. So if you want to have a place for entertaining friends and family, if you want a house with a yard so that your kids can live a normal childhood, right? If you like to have a pool, then buy a house. It's proven that more kids go to college when they have that pride of ownership. So if you want to leave a legacy to your kids, this is the right time to become a homeowner. So if you're ready to apply, go to jerrytorres.pro/apply. And if you have any specific questions, things that you don't want to discuss while going live, you can book a free 30-minute consultation by visiting jerrytorres.pro/consult. Now, this is another action taker bonus. For the first 5 people that apply online or book a consultation, we are going to even help you even further by providing you, by helping you, by refunding, a professional company to prepare what is called a state plan. A state plan. Once you're a homeowner and you go to a better life and you don't have the proper structure, your heirs could be taxed with, up to 6% of the home value or the value of the state. So, I mean, sometimes it's better just to have a living trust in place. So again, if you decide to work with us after escrow closes, we're even willing to refund a company that we suggest $2,500 so that you have a living trust, and not only a living trust, but a pour over will, healthcare directive. There are many things that you need in order to have a good, but again, that's legal stuff. Consult with an attorney. All right. So before we wrap things up, Caesar, do we have any questions? Has anybody submitted any questions that we can answer before we let these beautiful people go for the rest of the day?
Hey, Jerry. Yeah, so I have a question here by a gentleman by the name of Thomas. He just wants to confirm what the minimum credit score is for the down payment assistance program.
The down payment assistance program in California, the CalHAFA, the score is 660. That is the minimum. For the regular first-time home buyer, again, 580 and above will technically, that will consider you a first-time home buyer, and they will give you 96.5% financing. Any other questions, Cesar?
Perfect. Yeah, I just have one other one from Emily. She saying she has a down payment, but her credit score is in the low 500s. Are we able to work with that?
Okay, so anybody that has below 580 and they want to still take advantage of the first-time home buyer program, then what we would recommend is for them to go through a credit repair company, because they are the experts in that arena. And within 90 days, I've seen this happen before. They can boost that FICO to 80 points so that they can qualify as a first-time home buyer, or even 660 in order to receive the down payment assistance. So it is possible within 90 days, talk to a credit repair company. If you don't have one, again, if you book an appointment with us at the end of the webinar, we can refund you up to $1,000 by using the company that we recommend, or you can use whatever company you want. Another question.
All right, I just got another one here, and they're asking how soon after they're qualified are they able to purchase a home?
How soon? I mean, the moment that we issue the pre-approved letter, you're ready to go. Because, okay, so there are different types of pre-approvals. I mean, sometimes a lot of lenders, they just look at the financials and that's the only thing they do. Based on my experience, on my gut feeling, they say you qualify. Now, when you decide to work with us, we're gonna do something. We're gonna technically pre-underwrite the loan, and we're gonna put everything in an automatic underwriting system called AUS. And these systems have been developed by the big giants, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, because we want to make sure that when you're writing an offer, you have that confidence that you're going to be able to get a loan. Any other questions, Cesar?
No other questions.
All right. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for spending 30 minutes with us over here. We will love the opportunity to help you become a homeowner. Again, if you have questions, book a free consultation by going to jerrytorres.pro/consult. And if you feel you're ready to apply, just go to jerrytorres.pro, apply. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next webinar.